This is Antarctica, the continent known as the fifth largest in the world. Now, let's go back 53 million years. In the past, Antarctica was such a warm region that the temperature exceeded 20 degrees Celsius during the period known as the Eocene epoch. The Earth was much warmer compared to modern times. Antarctica, unlike the current icy landscapes, was covered with dense forests. It received abundant rainfall and was covered with extensive and tall trees and other vegetation. The continent supported a wide variety of animal life and was probably filled with characteristic marine animals and reptiles of that era. At the same time, the oceans around Antarctica were teeming with rich and diverse marine life. However, over time, the temperature dropped to as low as -89 degrees Celsius, and the continent was covered with a thick layer of ice, about 3 kilometers thick on average, currently harboring approximately 80% of the Earth's freshwater reserves. Up until now, the surface of Antarctica has been thoroughly examined. But as always, the most interesting things were hidden deep below. So, what lies beneath these thick layers of ice? Was there life there before? And did it resemble ours? What have scientists found beneath the surface of Antarctica? In the late 19th century, Russian scientist Peter Kropotkin suggested that fresh water could be found beneath the glaciers of Antarctica. With the immense pressure exerted by thousands of square kilometers of ice, he argued that the lower parts of the ice could melt and turn into water, and recently, freshwater reservoirs beneath the glaciers were discovered. As of 2021, about 400 lakes have been identified beneath the glaciers of Antarctica. One of these lakes has particularly captured the attention of scientists. Meet Lake Vostok. The existence of this lake, located beneath Russia's Vostok, was first brought up in 1966. Satellite images indicated the possibility of a water reservoir under 4 kilometers of ice. However, this information was confirmed in 1996, and the boundaries of the lake were drawn. Based on various pieces of information, the length of Lake Vostok was determined to be 250 kilometers, the width 50 kilometers, and the area 12,500 square kilometers, equivalent to the size of Lake Van. According to various estimates, the depth of the lake ranges from 600 to 1,200 meters, slightly less than the world's deepest lake, Lake Baikal. In terms of volume, Lake Vostok ranks 5th among the lakes on our planet. This massive reservoir has remained hidden under 4,000 meters of ice for years. Situated 500 meters below sea level, Lake Vostok is considered one of the lowest lakes on Earth. The secluded water in the lake has been undisturbed for 15 to 25 million years. The average water temperature in the lake is -3 degrees Celsius, so why doesn't the lake freeze? The answer lies in the high pressure applied to the ice sheet and the geothermal heat it receives from the Earth's core. Lake Vostok is enriched with nitrogen and oxygen. The massive mass of ice creates about 350 atmospheres of pressure, leading to the formation of nitrogen and oxygen. This is 50 times higher than ordinary freshwater lakes. The immense pressure in the lake makes it nearly impossible for living organisms to survive. So, what is hidden in the lake? To find out, scientists began drilling in 1989. A joint team from Russia, France, and the United States working at the Vostok station drilled to approximately 3,500 meters below the ice. However, the drilling was halted about 100 meters above the estimated boundary between the ice sheet and the lake waters. This was done to prevent the lake from freezing and to avoid contamination with freon and kerosene. Nevertheless, the age of the ice sample they retrieved is estimated to be 420,000 years. In November 2010, scientists submitted the final environmental assessment of the project to the Committee for Environmental Protection of the Antarctic Treaty and obtained approval to take water samples. In February 2012, drilling resumed. Valery Lukin, the head of the Russian expedition to Antarctica, reported that his team was only 50 meters away from drilling into the surface of Lake Vostok. Later, a thermal drill detected water, and at that point, scientists stopped the drill and extracted it. Withdrawing the drill reduced the pressure, allowing water to be drawn into the borehole. Researchers allowed the water from the borehole to freeze and sent the newly formed ice to the laboratory for analysis. So, what did they find? Before 1988, a team led by Scott Rogers from Bowling Green State University in Ohio found approximately 500 different gene sequences in an ice sample taken from 170 meters above the surface of Lake Vostok. However, this finding was heavily questioned by scientists. Sergei Bulat, a microbiologist at St. Petersburg Nuclear Physics, believed that these gene sequences were entirely due to contamination. When his group analyzed the same sample, they detected contamination. The well-known ancient DNA expert will criticize this finding. He found it strange that bacteria isolated for millions of years would closely resemble known microbial sequences. Although this suggested that at least some of the discovered gene sequences were due to contamination, some findings were confirmed. The first discovery was made in 2004. Extremophilic organisms were found 3,600 meters below the ice surface. These organisms use inorganic matter as an energy source and can survive in extreme conditions. Studies indicate that these creatures can comfortably live at -50 degrees Celsius. They likely initially resided in hot reservoirs at the bottom of the lake. Of course, this was not the only thing discovered. In 2014, Sergei Bulat announced the discovery of a completely unknown bacterium. The bacterium, named W12310, was found in a sample obtained from Lake Vostok using a drill. Sergei Bulat wrote a scientific article on this, and it was published in the PubMed journal. The most interesting thing is that this bacterium may have evolved somehow with only a 186% genetic similarity to all known organisms. W12310 could form the basis for the hypothesis that we are not alone in the universe. Lake Vostok, with its isolated environment shielded by ice for millions of years, theoretically shares similar conditions with ice-covered oceans on Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus. This is exciting news indeed. It appears that these organisms can also be found there. While the size and mystery of Lake Vostok are intriguing, logically, we should have started exploring more accessible bodies of water. This is why scientists are now focusing on Lake V. Lake V, unlike other lakes, is situated on a hill due to the weight of the ice covering it, causing the water to rise beneath the glacier. The lake, with a depth of approximately 2 meters, covers an area of almost 60 square kilometers. On January 27, 2023, scientists successfully drilled through the ice layer and reached the lake. The water under high pressure filled the well through the drilled hole, and sampling from the lake began a day later. Subsequently, the depths of the lake were examined with the help of a camera. This investigation revealed the presence of various bacterial species living in the lake. The lake waters are located approximately 800 meters below the surface, making the lake completely deprived of sunlight. Microorganisms living in the lake are chemoautotrophic bacteria that can obtain energy through chemical reactions with inorganic materials. These bacteria obtain energy by reducing substances such as iron, sulfur, and nitrogen and use this energy to produce food through chemical processes. In the samples taken from the lake, a microscopic and nearly transparent organism was discovered. This entity underwent cellular-level examinations. The organism surprised scientists with how it evolved and survived in the deep waters of Antarctica. Scientists now hope to gather more information about the genetic structure, evolutionary history, and role in the ecosystem of this organism. This discovery contributes to a better understanding of the isolated ecosystem in Antarctica and may provide insights into how potential extraterrestrial life forms could appear. This achievement has been recorded as the first successful extraction of high-quality samples from a subglacial lake beneath Antarctica. In 2019, researchers conducted drilling in another subglacial reservoir, Mercer Lake, located about 600 kilometers from the South Pole. A well of about 1,000 meters in depth was drilled to obtain samples from Mercer Lake. During scientific examinations of the lake, scientists took soil samples from the bottom of the reservoir. The research team examined the collected soil samples under a microscope and found structures resembling fungi or plant parts. Additionally, remnants of tardigrades and the exoskeletons of crustaceans were observed. This finding greatly surprised scientists because no one expected the discovery of a more complex organism than single-celled organisms. While diatom residues in bacteria are normal, the discovery of tardigrades and fungi was remarkable. Whether these types of organisms live in these environments or are transported there from elsewhere, possibly by mobile ice layers, remains uncertain. However, if these organisms did not come from elsewhere, it indicates that life beneath the Antarctic ice is much more extensive than previously thought. The mysterious lakes beneath Antarctica's ice continue to excite scientists and researchers with unknown forms of life they harbor. The doors to this mysterious world have been opened, and scientists hope to find more in the depths of Antarctica. All of this may provide us with insights into how our world works and, perhaps, how the universe operates. The next step will be a more detailed examination of microorganisms hidden beneath the ice in these lakes. Understanding the genetic structures, evolutionary histories, and life processes of these microorganisms will help scientists comprehend how living organisms survive in extreme conditions. Simultaneously, it may provide answers to questions about the possibility of life existing on other planets and moons under similar extreme conditions. Additionally, gaining more information about the chemical composition and physical properties of the water in these lakes can contribute to a better understanding of Antarctica's climate history and potential future climate changes on our planet. Since the waters of these lakes have been isolated for millions of years, they offer unique insights into past climate conditions. Thank you very much for watching the video until the end. If you like and subscribe to the video, you will make me very happy. Thank you again.